Hey guys, and welcome to game number 37 out of 100 of the Mack vs. Machine series, where I'll be playing 100 games of Scrabble against the top on-the-line bot, HastyBot. We're currently sitting at 24 and 12, so it's been a nice start to the series, and hopefully we can keep things going today. So without further ado, let's jump right in. HastyBot will definitely have something to say about that, opening this game with a bingo of spirits. We've got the blank, but nothing much else that's good to go with it. A G, double I's, double L's, and a U. Real question is, are we bingoing here? I believe so. We have guiltily through this T with a blank Y, and I think that's going to be the only one, I have to imagine, with a rack like that. So I'm going to go ahead and slap that down quickly there. And let's see, pretty nice draw for us here. We definitely have bingos through this R. We have things like wastries, waitress, and wasters. I believe those are the only three. Fortunately, swayest is not good. That would be a nice one through the Y. Waspiest. Actually, waspiest almost works here, but it makes NS. Are there any sevens? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no sevens. Don't think there's anything through the G or the U or the L. I think we're going to just probably bingo through this R. And assuming we do so, probably just wasters is fine, because it's the only one of the three that triples the W. And I guess waitress is probably, or wastries are probably slightly more defensive, just because they would completely block off anything through the floaters and guiltily other than bingos starting with those letters, but wasters is still pretty good defensively. It really just gives back this W and the blank Y. So I think for the couple extra points, that's gotta be worth it. Okay, he plays Venging, which does take an A, and I've got a couple A's to use it. Unfortunately, I've got a boatload of vowels to go with them, and it's going to be tough for me to do anything there beyond probably a three-letter word. So I'm not sure I'm going to want to do that. I may be better off holding on to my A's and leaving that spot. Of course, I do run the risk of him using the spot for a lot of points. So that'll be something to keep in mind on this turn. Yeah, I mean, I just don't have a lot of options there. I don't really want to play something like KAE, keeping 4 vowels. But what other plays do I have in other parts of the board that are actually even reasonable? I mean, Inoki is horrible. Keeps AAE and only scores 18. Agi? I mean, it's okay, but AIKO is not so good. Alike. Maybe the best on equity of all of those. I mean, 19 keeping AEO is not exactly appealing, though, let's face it. Don't think I'm missing anything better through this G. I'm not going to be able to overlap here since I have nothing that goes after a U. Do I have anything? I guess I have Evoke, but that's pretty bad. It gives back the... Well, the Evoke isn't that scary since he's limited in how far he can play across, but it does give back quite a lot on the A column. So not a big fan of that. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of anything here. Maybe I am probably just better off taking out this spot. I do have a little bit of a lead, and there's 5 A's unseen, so he's pretty likely, relatively speaking, to have picked one up. He's probably got about a 50-50 shot since 55 tiles unseen, 5 A's. So he would have been drawing from 60 tiles. He's got about a 1 in 12 shot. Actually, 1 in 10 shot on each pool, right? Because there's 6 A's. 5 A's. 5 A's out of 60 tiles. So that is a 1 in 12 shot and 5 draws. So that's about 5 in 12. Not exact math, but pretty close for estimation purposes. So he'd have had just under a 50% chance, I think, of pulling an A. So it's a decent chance. And, I mean, this has got to really reduce his average score when he does have an A. So it's probably worth it. It's not that big an equity sacrifice. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, he plays Fumed. We pick up a J and another E. Probably just half A here. I think it scores too many points to really consider anything else. Oh wait, we have J-E though through this G. That's got to be better. I mean, scores more, unloads the wide, and extra val. So another example there, guys. See a good play and look for a better one. Okay, embodied. Is there an E? Nope, but there's an I. So it plays over here. And can't imagine there's anything better. Yeah. Okay, but he immediately snaps right back with Orchilla through this I. So he is not going to go down easily, as he never does. Let's see. Far from out of the woods here, guys. We've got not a great rack, and there's still a blank and some good bingo tiles. So we definitely have some things to worry about. I assume we're going to want to just play through this D with something like Oidia. We could also consider we might want to play off a few more tiles. Actually, something like Indoor looks reasonable, because AI isn't bad. I like playing off the extra tile for the blank, scoring a few extra points. And it's a slightly consonant-heavy pool with 21 consonants to 13 vowels. So AI is not a terrible leave. I also do like making the column N a little harder to use. Now he has to put an I here to make air. Whereas if I just play Oidia in this same spot, then I'm allowing basically any tile that goes after an A to make a 2, which is the vast majority of the tiles unseen to go there. So Indoor is just going to make his life a little more difficult. Of course, he could still bingo on this side of the A as well. So it's far from closing down a ton of lanes. If I really wanted to be defensively, I could play Olio. This actually is worth considering just because it's really going to cut down on his bingo percentage dramatically. It takes out all these 7s. It's not easy to start an 8 with an O. The problem is it still allows things like Crazed to this D with a Z unseen. So, and that's going to score like almost a 90. I'm probably better off, given that possibility, taking Indoor and scoring a few extra points. I also give myself more of a chance to pick up the blank or the Z myself for scoring. I just don't feel my position is safe enough after Olio being up about 50 to warrant that sacrifice in turnover and points, since both are important here. Yeah, that's a 9-point sacrifice, which is pretty substantial. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to my initial instinct of Indoor. Okay, he plays Quoter. I've got decent rack. I'd have Vitiated with an I. Not gonna get that down as far as I can tell. We're up 33, so we have a lead, but not a huge lead. Still a blank and a Z to contend with, unseen. If I just want to score, I could play something like Divot, which really doesn't give very much back. It's 26, keeping ATE, which is a good leave, so that's certainly not bad. If I want to try to restrict him from bingoing a bit more, I would probably play something, I guess like Davit over here? There's no S's unseen, there is a blank. But this definitely would reduce his bingo percentage by, I have to imagine, a substantial amount. I guess it's worth thinking about how likely really is he to bingo, because there are good bingo tiles in a blank, but there's also an X, a Z, a W, a Y. There's some bad bingo tiles as well, so he's far from a shoo-in to bingo here if I just play something like Divot. And Divot does take out that scoring spot. Of course, this O is a little bit scary too, since he could double-double there. So, I don't know. This is kind of a tricky one. I'm a little bit leaning towards Davit. It just blocks a lot of bingos. I mean, he's probably going to have to hook an S to make Davits if he wants to bingo here. And now that I played Indoor, there aren't huge places for him to score on this board, so I'm kind of leaning towards Davit over Divot to make the 5-point sacrifice. I feel pretty good about my ability to hold on to a 50-point lead here if he doesn't bingo. I feel pretty good. Yeah, I feel like he's so much less likely to bingo after Davit versus Divot, and bingos after Divot really could score a lot, especially through that O and embodied. I think this is probably warranted, but I'm not entirely sure. And there's also already an S hook with Sanups if he does have the blank. Of course, it's a bit easier to bingo with a 7 ending in an S, so the Davit hook is better for him. But it still forces him to use the blank specifically as an S. So I think I'm going to go and play Davit. Okay, he plays G's. So I'm up 20. Definitely not a lead that's going to hold up if he bingos, I have to imagine. So I probably need to just play defense and try to hold on and hope he doesn't bingo. That's probably my best plan here. Do I have anything good through this O? Not really, I don't think. I could score here with Ha for 31. That's not bad. I'm probably... the problem with Hodder, though, is it gives back a huge X spot, so I don't think I can do that. It doesn't seem smart. And now at least it's harder for him to hit Davits because of this Z here. He'd have to use the S specifically in the 4th or 5th spot, which is considerably harder than being able to use it anywhere near the end of the word. Do I have anything through this O, though, that gets the H on the triple letter and hits the double word? I'm not seeing it, unfortunately. So my best plan may just be to score with Ha. Do I play He because there's 3 E's unseen and only 1 A? Maybe. I don't think I have anything else through this T that's great. Troth seems like too big a point sacrifice. On the other hand, Troth or something like that would make it pretty hard, if not impossible, for him to bingo. He'd have to bingo through this O, which would be really tough. But he does have enough ways to score still and beat me without bingoing that I think I don't want to be too passive here. I don't want to get too worried about him bingoing and then end up allowing him to win without bingoing. I definitely do not want to lose that way. So I probably should just score here. Yeah, I'm leaning towards just playing Ha. Do I have anything here actually with Chai? Don't think so. Like REH or something like that. That's not going to work. Yeah, probably just Ha. All right, let's do that. I think the E is better enough than the A that it doesn't make sense to give up the E even with 3 more unseen. Okay, so this is very good news for us. He plays unbox and we do pick up the blank. Do we have anything here? I don't think so. It's just tutors with an S. We almost have beetroot, but not going to work. Anything from this S with like 2 overlaps, like stool something? I don't think so. Netroots, that's not going to work. Tattooer, not going to quite work through this T. So probably we can afford to just... Do we want to empty the bag, though? Probably not. Maybe just Orc. I mean, he's not going to be able to win here, right? If I'm up 24, does he have any bingos through this T? That's the only thing I need to worry about. I don't think so. It's going to be hard to go through all these possibilities with limited time. Ferocity, for instance, with an EEW draw, but that doesn't play. Assurate, no, that doesn't even work. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have any possible bingos through the T. So I'm feeling pretty good. If I just play Orc, I go up... What do I go up? I go up 43. I can't imagine how he's going to score enough points to beat me after that. Yeah, I just can't imagine. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, he does play Yawn for a lot, and I have octets to go out, so I don't really have to think here, thankfully. But yeah, that's why I think I needed to score with Orc, because if I didn't, he did still have enough scoring potential that even with the blank, if I got only 1 pointers, I could get into some trouble. So, okay, 100-point win for us, 465 to 365. Pretty interesting game. Couple cool turns there. Davit, I want to look at for sure. KAE, I want to look at. Maybe Ha and Orc too. Not entirely clear. I think I was playing reasonably, but it's most certainly worth looking at. So let's go ahead and take a look. If we go back to the beginning, so he opens with Spirits. Guiltily, indeed the only bingo, so a good find by me here. The next option is absolutely dreadful. It's something like Igloo over here for 9, so glad I found this. Sanup looks pretty good. It's a kind of promising rat for him, but the PNNU makes it tough. So looks solid here. Scores okay. Keeps ER. Wasters seems to be best. Yeah, I would have played Verging if I were him. He doesn't need to create this opening yet. He's only down like 40. The game is quite young. I personally wouldn't create that amount of volatility, especially after my opponent just bingoed and is drawing 7 random tiles from the bag. I'm too likely to have an A and be able to score a lot. If he was down 100, then sure, but at this point I would have gone with Verging. But okay, he plays Venging, and oh, maybe a key is better? Yeah, it's a weird looking play, but actually this isn't really scary, right? Because, I mean, he can pretty much just put an S there, and there's no S's left. I guess he could have Hakeem or Parakeet. Should I be? No, I don't think I should be worried about Parakeet because there's no P's left. Is there anything else? Mamatique? No, that doesn't work. Yeah, I guess he can really just have like Hakeem there. I didn't really consider this. Oddly, it's a very weird looking play, right? To put a Lord 1 spot before a triple like that, but I think it's actually fine here, like I said, because it only takes an S, and he's obviously not going to just put a blank there, because he can't play horizontally with it with spirits. And Hakeem is 45, like if he has that, so be it. It's not that big a deal. And I don't think other than Parakeet, which is going to require blank ART to play, I don't think there's any other triples that he can have. Kokanese doesn't work. Yeah, I think I just didn't even really look at that because it looks so bad instinctively, but now that I look at it in analysis, it makes total sense. So yeah, I think this would have been a little bit better just to unload the extra val. So small mistake here. He went ahead and played Fumed, which looks good. Yeah, glad I took the time to see Jaggy here. It's very easy to just look through this F he played and be happy that he gave you a spot for Hefe for 45, but Jaggy, of course, significantly better to score 5 more and dispose of the Y, which does not go well with the other vowels. He plays Oath and Embodied only bingo. Ooh, to Spirits. That's cool. I wonder if I missed that later in the game. I admittedly was not really looking at extending Spirits. In Spirits would also have worked with an IN extension. So just a good reminder to always look for extensions, especially of these words that could hypothetically be extended to a triple word score, since they often will score a lot of points and catch your opponent by surprise. So maybe I missed it later. We'll see. Orchilla, and didn't quite miss it here. Indoor looks fine. Aeolian is a cool play here that I missed, but I can't imagine this is correct. It seems pretty scary leaving that D open with possibilities like Crazed that I was talking about earlier. So I think Indoor is a perfectly reasonable play. He plays Quoter, and okay, so I did miss Dispirits here, which may be best. Yeah, Divot and Davit were the 2 plays I was mainly considering. And obviously, I mean, really the only advantage of Divot is that it scores 5 more points. Davit plays an extra tile, which is good. It gives me another chance at the blank, or the Z, which would probably be good for me for scoring. And it definitely reduces his bingo percentage considerably, because this line here next to Orchilla, before I played Davit, like if I play Divot over here, his best bingo line by far is to play with a 2 ending in an A and play a 7 down here, or to get a double-double through this O, which would score quite a lot of points as well. So with both of those possibilities looming and a blank unseen, I feel like the 5 points are much less likely to make a difference than a big bingo would after Divot. If I play Davit, I'm still taking about a 50-point lead, and yeah, there are ways for him to still score with the Z and the X and the blank, but keeping a solid lead, I feel pretty good in general about my ability to hold on in this position. So I think Davit is probably a fine play to make here. He does have both the Z and the X and scores with G's. Yeah, so I didn't really miss too much here. Hodder would be nice if not for the X, but I'm only going up 46, so if he just plays something like Fox, then he'll be taking a lead, and depending on what I draw, I could end up being in some trouble, because Hodder would play 5 tiles, that leaves 4 in the bag, so play like Fox leaves 1 in the bag for me, and that could be a bit of a tricky pre-end game that I didn't want to get into. So I felt I was better off just scoring with Hot, and once again, with that pool, it's going to be close to impossible for him to bingo without the blank, and even with the blank, he's got to hit something either through this O specifically in the 6th spot, through a T specifically in the 5th spot, or hooking an S on Davit's and using the S in the 4th or 5th spot, all of which are going to be fairly unlikely, all things considered. So I also wanted to make sure I kept scoring because, of course, if I get too lazy and just play something like most over here, I'm only up 34, and all of a sudden if he just plays something in the top right corner or something like Fox next to Davitt, he's tying the game, and it could get very dicey for me even if he doesn't bingo. So my priority here was I want to make him bingo if he's going to win this game, and I feel like Ha does a very good job at doing that, and as such, seems like a good play. He plays unbox. Yeah, that seems fine to me. I don't think the X is doing all that much, and have to imagine he's going to need to bingo to win, so I do think getting rid of the X and at least the B should help his cause. Obviously, I don't love blocking that O, but if he picks up the blank, it might be a little bit difficult for me to deal with the lines down below in some cases, so it's not looking good for him either way, but unbox probably gives him the best of the small chances he can possibly get. So it looks reasonable. I don't even think I saw Torque, but it's definitely not the right play. There's really no good reason to empty the bag here. I mean, I'm probably winning unless I missed a possible bingo through that T, which I'm going to look up that rack in Ziziva on my phone right now to see if there were any possible 8s for him, but I'm pretty confident there weren't with the T in that spot. But let's see. Yeah, so Eyewater, which I did not see but doesn't fit, and Ferocity, which I did see and also doesn't fit, are the only possible 8s. So yeah, I should be perfectly safe with Torque as well. I mean, I'll be up 45 in the end game with not a ton of great scoring spots for him, and I'll have the blank. So that should be a pretty secure position, but of course, in very good shape after Orc as well, being up nearly the same amount, just 2 less, and with still 1 in the bag. So Orc is quite reasonable. He plays Yawn. Just another reason why I did need to keep scoring. I'm only up 10 here, and I would have easily won with something like Coset too, but of course I saw the out bingo, and no reason for me to think further. And that's that. So another win for us, a nice 100-point win. Overall, I'm happy with this game. KAE was a small mistake. I should have played a key over there. A bit of a counterintuitive play that's not that easy to spot just because it looks so weird to put a word one below the or one above the triple word score when you don't have to. So kind of a weird turn there, but other than that, I think I played well this game. David I'm good with. Ha I think was fine indoor. After analysis, I think they were all reasonable plays. So yeah, another good game. We improved to 25 and 12 in the series. So thanks everyone for watching. As always, feel free to suggest any alternative ideas or leave any suggestions in the comment section, and I will look forward to seeing you all for game number 38 soon to come. Thanks guys, have a good one. Bye-bye.